Hello and welcome to Let's Get Distracted, episode 28. We're here to talk about Dysautonomia Awareness Month, and I have a super special guest, Sara Wright. Hi, Sara.
Hi.
First, I'm Michelle Burke, coming to you live from Annapolis, Maryland. Many of you know that after 30 years in corporate taxes, I went out on my own in January and formed Health and Taxes. There are only two things certain in life, death and taxes. Let's flip it to health and taxes. I come to you live both on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern to bring you some information, usually on health and wellness. And I like to bring a guest to speak with us to educate you on what's going on. So this month, it's Dysautonomia Awareness Month, and I know a lot of people have no idea what that is. So I have a special guest, Sara Wright, who knows a lot about this topic. So let me just tell you a little bit about Sara. Sara is joining us from Greensboro, North Carolina. She was born in California, but has spent the last few years out in quite a few years. It's been adding up now in North Carolina. She's 22 years old. She absolutely adores her family, and especially her little siblings and her fur babies. She's got a couple cute little dogs. She's dealt with chronic illness for the last 12 years. That's a really long time and more than half of her life. So first, let's all give a warm welcome and say, hello, Sara. Hello, Sara.
Hello.
How are you doing? Thanks for being here.
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Sara, let's get started here. Why don't you share a little bit about your story so our audience knows who you are and what your story is?
Yeah, so I'm 22 and this started when I was 10 years old and I started bleeding out, and when I was bleeding out, all my organs started bleeding out too and shutting down. And when that happened, something clicked and all my genes that I was predisposed to just awoken. And so I got everything that I was genetically predisposed to. So dysautonomia, Ehlersdanlos, gastroparesis, platelet storage pool deficiency, all these things. And since then, since I was 10, I started feeling sick. And I used to be a travel softball player and a travel soccer player. And after that, I couldn't do anything anymore. I was so sick. And it's progressively gotten worse over the 12 years. And now I am in hospice. I still have a lot going on. I have more things that I have added to the list. And yeah, that's kind of my story. That's what happened to me.
Thanks for sharing that, Sara. I remember when you were 10, we were really, really scared you, scared your mom. Your body just didn't want to stop bleeding. No one knew what was going on. And then since then, it's been a very long journey. And I know it hasn't been easy for you, but I do admire all your strength. And that you still smile and you still are full of love and you still give to your family. And so that part of you is quite beautiful. So we're really happy to have you here. So Sara, let's explain a few things to our audience. Let's start. Just what is dysautonomia?
Dysautonomia is the autonomic nervous system when it shuts down. And the autonomic nervous system is the control panel for the things that you don't have to think about. So, like your body temperature, your heart rate, your blood pressure, your digestive system, things like that. So, it's just your autonomic nervous system just clicks and shuts off.
Yeah, and so a lot of people, we don't even think about these things. We don't think about our blood pressure. We don't think about having to breathe. We don't think about our food digesting. But in someone with these symptoms, those things just don't happen the way they're supposed to. They're supposed to happen automatically in a cycle, but they get out of balance and they just don't happen in the usual order, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Sara, tell us some of the common types of dysautonomia. I know you mentioned a couple that you have.
Yeah, so the kind that I have is POTS, which is the most common type. And some other types is diabetic autonomic neuropathy, familial dysautonomia, which is really rare, autonomic dysreflexia, and there's a few other ones too, but POTS is definitely the most common one.
So POTS is the most common, and it affects a lot of young women, right? It's very frequently to be found.
Mostly women, but there are men too that have it.
Now, how long did it take before you were diagnosed with POTS?
Oh gosh, it took me maybe 4 years. 4 years, yeah.
And you're pretty certain you had it since you were 10, right? It all kind of triggered, or do you think it's something that you developed later?
No, I think I had it I got it at 10. But I genetically had it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sara, what are some of the symptoms you that you deal with?
Some symptoms are dizziness, headaches, fatigue, nausea, passing out, insomnia, and brain fog.
Yeah, and I know you're often saying that you have a hard time sleeping and you're you feel faint, right?
Yes.
Feeling dizzy, not always feeling the great. By the way, I don't know if you saw, but a lot of people are chiming in saying hello. So you've got a lot of people,
everyone.
a lot of people joining in saying hi to you. I was flashing it up while you were speaking earlier, so you may have not have seen that. If anybody has questions for Sara along the way, please feel free to put your question in the comment section. We'll pop that up. So Sara, what are some of the triggers for you?
Some triggers of POTS are, so like, are you talking about, like, what causes POTS?
You could talk about that, sure.
Okay, so like things that can cause POTS are like maybe mono, physical trauma, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and Crohn's disease, things like that. Now triggers like that can cause symptoms are maybe like smells, sounds, standing up, working out, heat, being in the cold, things like that.
Yeah, so without your body being able to regulate itself, sometimes like it could be really cold in the room, but you may be super hot, right? Or vice versa.
No, exactly.
So how would someone go about getting diagnosed, or how do you know that something's not right?
Well, with all the research and awareness, people have been getting diagnosed more frequently with their regular prep, their, what is it called? Their
Just a regular doctor's checkup or visit?
Their regular doctors. Their GP. And so, but when I first got sick, it took a long time to get diagnosed. But now there's been a lot of awareness and a lot of research. So, even at your GP, you can get diagnosed with POTS. But also you can get diagnosed by a cardiologist or a neurologist.
Okay. Now, are there some tests that they do? Is there that tilted table? Tell us about that.
A tilt table test they do, but they don't really do it anymore because it's very hard on us. It's a horrible test. I'm just going to say that now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's horrible. But now all they do really is take your blood pressure laying down, and then like 3 minutes later they take your blood pressure standing up. Then 3 minutes later they take your, or sitting up, sorry, they take your blood pressure sitting up. And then 3 minutes later they take your blood pressure standing up. So they get an elevated blood pressures. And that will tell you if you have POTS, because your blood pressure and your heart rate will go really high and your blood pressure will go low depending on what kind of POTS you have.
And a normal person, their reading would be the same in all three of those situations. And in a POTS patient, they're going to be all over the charts, right?
Yes, a normal person, their heart rate might go up, a little bit, a couple beats, but for people with POTS, it can go up 50, 60, whatever beats just by standing up for 3 minutes.
Wow. So, Sara, if someone wants to learn more and become more aware, and fortunately, I know you do a lot to help make people aware, what can they do? Let me flash up this Dysautonomia International org. Tell us a little bit about this organization.
Yeah, so Dysautonomia International was designed and made by a woman named Lauren Stiles, who is amazing. She started it and is still running it, and it will tell you so much information you need to know about dysautonomia, how to help, what to do, and how it works, and all kinds of things, what doctors you need to see, where they are, like a whole bunch of information. So it's really a great website.
Yeah, I've gone on the website, and there's just so much information out there, and it's really good for those of us who don't know this, or what it is, just becoming aware of it, knowing that people are suffering from it. Because oftentimes, when you say this is true, Sara, that like some of your friends or people who don't really know you, they don't even know that you're necessarily sick, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, people will be like, oh, like you look totally normal. And I'm like, yeah, that's, it's an invisible illness. We call it an invisible illness because you look totally normal, but on the inside, you're just suffering so much.
You have an amazing, I know a lot of us people complain about pain, but I know that you have an enormous amount of pain and have had a tolerance. So anything that can help you relieve it is wonderful. So I know you've been involved in this organization, and your mom has been involved in this organization, and there's a lot of information out there. You can go out there and you can donate. You can go out there and be active. The website explains how you can help. You can get on their email mailing list and get information about things that they have going on and how you can be active.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly encourage our audience to just take a look at this website and check it out. See what's there, because there's some really, really good information there. So Sarah, thank you for coming on and sharing all your information. Is there anything, do you have like any final words that you would like to share with our audience?
I'd just like to say, if anyone out there has any friends with POTS or knows anyone with POTS, just, be compassionate, be supportive, be understanding, because it's really hard having dysautonomia and being a friend at the same time. So just be understanding, because it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, you didn't get to go to school because of it. You had to drop. You loved your softball team. I know that. You loved playing soccer. You were a very, very active girl, and then things changed. And so your friends don't always realize what's going on or what's happening, and so it's really, really hard. I know you've had to deal with a lot of that. Julie's sending you some love and hugs.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
She says you're very strong. I have to agree with that. You are very strong.
Thank you.
So Sarah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, but thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for sharing your story and your education. Hopefully our listeners have learned a few things here. Charles asking, are there any charitable events associated with this?
Dysautonomia International does some runs, like 5K runs sometimes during this month. But other than that, you can always go to the website and donate money. And that's always appreciated. But no, but other than that, no.
Oops. All right. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, just getting on their mailing list and knowing they'll keep you apprised of what's going on.
Yeah.
But all right, Sarah, thanks so much for watching.
You.
And thanks our audience for tuning in. If you do have further comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments here on Facebook, or put them on in YouTube. Feel free to put any comments there. We'll keep an eye on things. Sally's also saying thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Charles saying thank you as well. So next week, please join us again. We'll have another talk. We're going to be talking about breast cancer awareness, because Sarah's in pink, but her color is actually turquoise. However, it's another thing to be aware of, and we will be talking about that. So thanks, everybody, and thanks so much, Sarah. Have a great night. Bye-bye.